Our region's business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you. Our region's business, improving our economy, creating jobs, and strengthening communities. Innovation, collaboration, transformation, and the people making it happen. Join us as we take a closer look at our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, the National Endowment for the Arts and its impact on our region, plus envisioning life on Liberty Avenue in downtown Pittsburgh. But first, a vision for the future of transportation across our region, one that makes sure you can get there from here. The Regional Transportation Alliance has spent the past couple of years listening to hundreds of organizations across the 10-county Pittsburgh region to develop Imagine Transportation 2.0, with 7 principles to guide decision-making and no less than 50 ideas to explore. Now the RTA is reaching out to stakeholders all over the region. Dusty Elias Kirk is a partner with Reed Smith. Jason Rigone is Executive Director of the Westmoreland County IDC. And Carly Dobbins-Bucklad is Senior Policy Analyst with the Allegheny Conference, which co-produces this program. Welcome. Good to have you all here.
Good morning.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, the roots of this project and this vision, Dusty, go back to a trip at the Allegheny Conference led about 3 years ago to Denver, Colorado. You were part of the group of 100 or so who went there. What struck you about what was going on in Denver that led you to think we might do something similar here?
Well, in Denver, they were thinking beyond the city. They were looking at the region, and I thought that was really important for our region. They had a little bit more flexibility because they had rail already in place, but they had an initiative that was asking the region, would they be willing to pay a little bit more in tax to support a regional transportation initiative.
And they got like 8 counties to all come in together and agree to do this, as I recall.
They did, and that was amazing to me, and I think it's a, it's a blueprint that we can follow.
Yeah, and Jason, Dusty talked about the regional aspect of this. In Westmoreland County, this issue of transportation, connectivity, mobility, is that on your mind over there?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, right now, we're going through updating our own comprehensive plan. And quite frankly, after talking with so many of our residents, transportation, public transportation, float to the top. It's the top item that comes up every day, and certainly from Westmoreland County's perspective, transportation and being able to access, a lot of jobs in downtown Pittsburgh, as well as mobility within the county itself is vital.
Yeah, so Carly, how'd you attack this? I know you reached out to hundreds and hundreds of organizations all over the region to try to get input. How do you do that and then make sense of it once you've got it?
Yeah, it was a big effort. There's a reason it took almost 2 years, but yeah, we reached out to all these organizations and leadership, lots of different kinds of stakeholder groups, lots of different parts of the community, and just did open-ended, what are the changes to the transportation system that would have the biggest impact, the biggest positive impact on the lives of your stakeholders, your constituents, your residents, and then use tools to sort what was the most common answers, where people really seem to align, and surfaced about 17 shared priorities across the region, and got a sense for what solutions people were looking for to sort of take our transportation to the next step.
In a second, I want to look at the online tool that kind of lays all this out, but I know one of the big things that came out with the report was this idea of principles to sort of guide decision making. I wonder, from the standpoint of the leadership in the RTA working on this, why was that important? Why don't you just lay out a laundry list of projects and we can just get into the ground?
Well, from my point of view, I thought that it was really important to understand how business looked at it, because I thought that, when you looked at the commuting patterns, a lot of people are commuting into urban regional areas. And so I know from our business, Reed Smith, the law firm, we have people commuting from all over the region. And so I think it was really important to find out what was going to help businesses and help people get to their jobs.
Okay, so clearly that was one of the principles that leaped out, right,
yeah.
Carly? One of the 7 was connecting people to jobs.
Yep, one of the top things we heard. And really the principles were laying out how we could make decisions differently that would help us get to the different priorities and the vision that we heard back from the community.
Well, I want to come back to Jason in a second, but why don't we take a quick look at the online piece of this. So it's Imagine Transportation 2.0, available through the Regional Transportation Alliance website. So what are we, actually this is the priority we were just talking, the principle we were just talking about, right? Jobs and education?
Yeah, principle 2, prioritize connections to jobs and education. And what we've done here is we tried to break down what's often very complicated and dry information into a way that is easy to understand and has lots of pictures and maps and things, so you can really see how it is in our region.
So what does that map tell us with those green dots in the middle of every county?
That's a fun one. That's a fan favorite. So what this is census data that shows how people commute. So how many people commute, in what direction, and how far they travel. And this is for their primary jobs, so sort of every day. And these the bigger the piece of pie, the more people are traveling in that direction. Okay. So when you sum all that up, what's happening in them? What's happening in our region every day in terms of commuting patterns? There's a few shared, really clear regional commuting corridors that emerge when you look at that data together, and that's just one example of the many pieces of the story that we sort of pulled together for this report. So you've got 7 of these principles on the website, and then underneath it, maps and images for supporting every one of them, all the different 50 potential projects that possibly could be part of the solution, huh? Yeah, ideas to get us started, ideas to explore. Yeah, so Jason, what struck you through this process? I mean, you're living this every day, you're already doing so much planning in Westmoreland County. Were there any surprises along the way as you did this? Well, the one thing that I was very impressed with was the use of technology in terms of information gathering, being able to analyze the data with the technology that was in hand that isn't necessarily always at the forefront from a planning perspective. A lot of times planning is always done in a traditional manner, but by utilizing technology to be able to consolidate and really understand the data, we certainly really appreciated and enjoyed that aspect of it. In terms of the policies and goals and the visions, I mean, I think that there are a lot of good things that were established by those 7 elements. You need to have your 7 guiding principles. Quite frankly, it's a fluid situation. There'll be things that are changing over time in terms of the projects, but those guiding principles always lead you in the same direction moving forward. So I thought it was a great process, and I said the use of technology really was something extraordinary to be added, I think, to a lot of different processes in the future. Really cool. Dusty, anything surprise you, leap out to you through the process? Well, I was really pleased to see Jason and other people in the region really focusing on taking this forward beyond just Allegheny County. And I also thought what was really important, again, was the technology, but I think technology can be used to help improve our road systems and things like that I don't think we thought of before. Oh, that's interesting. So better traffic light systems, not to mention things like autonomous vehicles. There's a whole world emerging out there. So Carly, what happens next? What do you do with this? So the website and the tools are online. What do you do with it now? Right. Well, now we need to, in part, go back to the counties and all those stakeholders we engaged before and sort of say, here's what we heard, so what are the next steps locally? So opportunities where we can advance these principles, as well as talking with a lot of the public agencies and decision makers who can adopt the principles, enact them, and we can really start to change how we make our plans and our investments in transportation to achieve that vision that everyone has articulated here. All right, well, everybody in the region should go online and take a look at it, regionaltransportationalliance.org. Got it. All right, we got it. Good job, Bill. Congratulations on getting us this far. We're looking forward to the journey in the years to come. Yeah. Dusty Elias Kirk, Jason Rigone, and Carly Dobbins-Bucklad from the Allegheny Conference. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Next up, envisioning downtown, in particular, life on Liberty Avenue. Stay with us.